Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays Defending Advisor with Plus. We're at 6 wins in a row. Dude, it feels good. I'm in full ergonomic setup. Back is strictly against the back of the chair. 8V, JD, 3R, J7. Because today was deadlift day. Fridays are for deadlifting. And then every morning, I wake up on Saturday and go, why do I feel like I herniated a disc in my back? And you're going to be like, because your form's bad. Look, my form, I've form checked myself. My form is fine. My back, it just hurts, you know? It sounds like I'm hand-waving the criticism. It's not the case. It's just, you know, I've seen my own form. The form is okay. It's just, you know, it's a back exercise. I don't actually feel like I herniated a disc. Really, the reason you might be thinking my form is bad is because I lied to you for the purposes of a joke. Anyway, so I like to sit ergonomically, and I've really reshuffled, like, my life around. Not in a serious sense, but, you know, I used to record Isaac in the morning, because it's, like, the easiest to record. I've started recording it at night, because it's when I'm, I mean, in the morning, dare I? To sleep, perchance to dream on that one? I don't know, I gotta think about it. I really value being able to know where my shots are actually going to go, to be honest. So I'm leaning towards no right now. But I mean, it's very simple. I feel like I play better in the morning, but there's only... Sorry, I play better, you know, my earliest videos of the day, which may or may not actually take place in what you normal people refer to as the morning. Although usually they are recorded before noon, which I think is like the dictionary definition. And then save Isaac till the end where I'm a little bit more, I'm worn out from other stuff. It's nice and relaxing. You know, it's the only game I'm playing right now where there's not, well, I mean, actually, I don't know. I think I will stick with that. Good lord, free chocolate milk. It's the only game I'm playing right now where there's not outright arithmetic / probability involved. Like I'm playing... I never really thought about this. I think I have a reputation for being bad at video games that is exacerbated by the fact that I play video games that are relatively analytical despite not necessarily having that as... I mean, I'm an analytical guy, but, you know, the differences between the most analytical person and the, you know, 20th most analytical person are exposed when there's, you know, a quantitative way to appreciate it, you know? If someone like, you know, Quill or Roomba is willing to get the spreadsheet out, they're going to put me to shame, is basically what I'm getting at. Can't re-roll that, huh? I think we're just going to say no to Dunce Cap then. But anyway, you know, Dicey Dungeon... There's probability, there's actual arithmetic, which is, you know, I shouldn't be complaining about arithmetic. I'm not, you know, in the 2nd grade. I don't know, when do kids learn arithmetic? Dicey dungeon style arithmetic, you know, subtracting from a 2-digit number. You're probably talking, that's like, it depends on where you're from. I'm almost 100% confident. Kate told me she moved to Canada from Korea in like 4th grade. She said that they didn't catch up mathematically to what they were teaching in 4th grade Korean math class until like Canadian 9th grade. Which, by the way, you might be saying like, you know, wow, that's amazing. Yes and no. They just have more of a focus on education over there. You know, there's also... They have other educational problems, like, you know, if you ask, and this is, I'm being sincere, if you ask, like, a millennial South Korean, like, what's the most stressful years of your life, the uniform answer that I've gotten is like, oh, like, middle school was horrible. And you might be like, yeah, middle school was horrible for me, too. But I know from teaching over there, when you're a South Korean, like, middle school student, most of them, you know, go to school, like, you know, 8 to 3 p.m., and then they go to, like, 4 private schools after that. They go to, like, you know, math Hagwon, English Hagwon, maybe, like, Japanese or Chinese language school on top of that. Maybe science Hagwon, maybe they're doing sports. Then they get home, it's like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. They got to do their homework. And they have, like, a huge amount of importance is placed on, like, the high school that you get into, which I know is not necessarily not the case in parts of North America. I don't know about Europe, to be honest. But, you know, that was not the case for me growing up. It was, you are in this school district, this is the school that you're going to go to. If you don't want to go to that school, you know, we'll see if we can sort it out, but you're going to have to... You're going to have to find your own way there. So what's going on here? You see what are you doing here? Why are you hanging out here? What's going on there? I don't understand. Anyway. What was I getting at? Okay, dice. Ooh, HP's in a real precarious spot here. Be careful. Dicey, obviously. Slay the Spire, obviously. It has arithmetic for 1, but also the base level of probability that comes with, you know, trying to figure out what are the odds that you're going to draw the card you want to draw next. Isaac. Isaac's pretty simple. But then even GeoGuessr, wonder why I'm so exhausted after a day of playing video games, because freaking GeoGuessr, you're zooming in on like a single pixel, and you're like, ah! It's Medellin. I remember that. That's a city in Northern Colombia. You know, your brain is working overtime on the lookup function. I gotta start playing some more casual games, man. Just, you know, or maybe, I don't know, maybe this is how I'm able to, well, how I hope to be able to keep my mind sharp now that I'm getting up there into old age. Why not? You know, you always hear, I've always heard at least, that, you know, it's important, if you want to keep your mind sharp as you get older, you gotta keep it active, you know? Less passive entertainment, more active entertainment. I just realized now that I've spent like the last 8 years largely playing surprisingly analytical games. I gotta start doing the crossword puzzle, man. The crossword puzzle. Now that I've gotten into better physical shape, I've lost some of the, well, some of the time, but also some of the drive to, you know, keep the mental acuity going, which is a bad habit, you know? Whether or not I end up having the time to go back and actually take night classes, I should be doing, like, Pluralsight or something like that, you know? Just try to keep your programming skills up, making personal projects. But also, just doing some crossword puzzles. You know, when I was watching Jeopardy all the time, crossword puzzles are basically... it's like an accessory exercise for Jeopardy. You might not think it. People think of the crossword puzzle as being like a word puzzle, and it is. But they're also, crosswords are basically just trivia with an asterisk, you know? Rather than just being like, you know, dictionary definition, oftentimes it's like, you know, this was the leader of Argentina during the Falkland Wars. And you gotta be like, I don't know. Is that Pinochet? Also, how do I spell Pinochet? Leader of Argentina during Falklands War. So it was Galtieri, my mistake. And now I'm making myself look even more ignorant because Pinochet was a Chilean leader. So my apologies on that one. Look, I wear my ignorance on my sleeve. Not proudly, but frankly. My knowledge of African and South American geography and history is derelict. It's low. It's like, I don't want to be dishonest. I'm like, should I sort it out? Yes, but at the same time, I mean, there's lots of things to sort out, you know. Nobody's leading the perfect life. Nobody knows everything, you know what I mean? I don't really care what you know or don't know about Canadian history. Here's a little primer on Canadian history, okay? You know, we declared, or we ratified Confederation July 1st, 1867. Been a country for 152 years. The history of colonization of Canada. In the early 11th century, Vikings landed in what is now Newfoundland and Labrador. then the French and the English, and yada yada yada, lots of fighting, yada yada yada, General James Wolfe, General Louis Montcalm, yada yada yada, Battle of the Plains of Abraham, yada yada yada. It's Canada. There you go. That's all you need. Just even keep the yadas going there. That's all you need to know. Anyway. What was I saying? I don't know. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm in full ergonomic setup. I feel extremely comfortable right now. I got both cats next to me, having a little snooze. I gotta say, I've been feeling like a little, down's not the right word, but I've been feeling a little, lazy lately. Been feeling a little more irritable. I don't think it's come across on the streams. You know, I've done a pretty good job of keeping my demeanor, you know, strong. And same in video, honestly, over the past year especially. Not getting as angry at people, whether, you know, jokingly or otherwise. And I was trying to figure out why, and then I saw a news article, and it said, hey, just so you know, we've now had the longest streak of consecutive rainy days in Vancouver in any September in its history. It rained 16 days in a row, and it rained a little bit today, so I think we're on day 17 now. It's just, it's not like it has had an incredibly major impact, but it helps to notice the, you know, the trigger for that. You know, I was like, I haven't been getting outside as much, missing out on the vitamin D, and you know, your outdoor activities become a little bit more inflexible when the rain starts. Fallen. Wow, I have to do that room again. Pretty poor performance there. That's okay. Still doing fine. Just a little spotty there. Please, sir, you may pick this up. So I'm eager, you know, once I'm done with the Isaac episodes today, put a little rain gear on. You're not a true Vancouverite if you don't have a good windbreaker at the very least. I'm not trying to gatekeep. If anything, most people are walking around in, like, you know, North Face, you know, Lululemon, Mech, Patagonia, Helly Hansen, or whatever the name of that outdoor brand is. I just got a New Balance one, okay? I'm people, they look at me and they laugh and they say, New Balance? Where'd you buy that? At the garbage store? And I'm actually at the flagship New Balance store, which I believe is on Granville Street, but I try to stay away from Granville Street, so I don't specifically remember, to be honest with you. That New Balance store, it's very intimidating for me. I'm not a particularly large man. I'm definitely larger than average. I'm about, in metric, I'm about 175 centimeters tall, around 90 kilos, which, for the Americans amongst us, I've adopted a new hardline policy, which is that I am not going to ever convert from metric to imperial. It's time for you to rejoin the rest of the world. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. If we keep... I've been watching a lot of Intervention, and I've learned many things from my Intervention sensei, Ken Seeley. If we keep enabling you, you're never gonna feel rock bottom. And if you never get to rock bottom, you're never gonna learn that a kilometer, you know, is about 60% of a mile. I'm just being facetious. I'm like 5'10", 200 is a pretty fair assessment. So I'm definitely larger than average. And to be honest, you know, I've been kind of like, in a fitness sense, I've been bulking for, I don't know, like 6 months now. I'm gonna keep it going for a while, just because, you know, I like the ease of getting stronger by eating a lot of food. And, you know, obviously, like, some of the gains are a little soft. But most of it is firm, so I'm feeling pretty good. But yeah, definitely, like, I'm creating the space where I can cut down. My plan is to start doing that maybe, I don't know, in the new year or something like that. Give me a new goal to reach for or something like that. But I'm not that large of a man. I wear like a medium in pretty much every context. Wear like a 32 jean. I have workout pants from New Balance, and they're just like, they're insulting. First off, they're insanely tight. Secondly, they're large, Canada, US size. And then on it, it says, oh, if you're buying these in Asia, these are extra, extra large. And they barely fit. It's just, I don't know if it's a slap in the face, because, you know, to be honest, it's kind of what I've been trying to cultivate. But at the same time, I'm just like, good God. This is, it seems a little egregious, New Balance. Why are you the only brand that, I don't know, is either so off or is telling it like it is? Because I have that sneaking suspicion that other brands... I don't want to shoot the messenger here, but I have a sneaking suspicion, and this is really just a conspiracy theory at present, but that other brands lie to you about the size that you're wearing in the hopes that it will conjure good feelings and make you more likely to buy the shirt. You know what I mean? Like back when I was, you know, accidentally heavier, if I tried on like a medium shirt and it was a little loose on me, I would have been like, oh, here I thought, you know, I was getting a little chubby based on, you know, mirrors worldwide, the way that I feel when I lean forward while sitting in a chair, being out of breath after going up a couple of flights of stairs. Turns out I might even be wearing a small. Sure, I'll take the shirt. Excuse me, my sons. Are you gonna go back to bed, or are you getting up for good? What do you think, Tomo? What do you think, buddy? He's giving me a little side eye right now. I don't know if he's decided yet. Oh, he's doing a circle. Circle means going back to bed. Absolutely true. So I think there's a little... just a little part of me that's like, you know, I know my body size. I think I'm not susceptible to retailer fibbing. Maybe. I don't know. Flattery will get you everywhere. Perhaps? I don't know. Anyway. Forgot what I was talking about. I mean, dude, honestly, like, I'm feeling derelict in my Pokemon Go playing. Gen 5, you know, it started coming out a couple days ago. I still, well, not a couple days ago, like 2 weeks ago. I still only got like 4 Pokemon from Gen 5. I gotta kick it into gear, man. I'm missing out. All I got is freaking, like, I don't even know the names of half of them, but all I got is Lillipup and Evolved Lillipup. I think we'll just take that, honestly. Because we get double flies and we have Hive Mind. If there was ever a time for this, I think it's now. I got Clink, the Pokemon that's a gear. But even then, I don't have any street cred because my wife already got Clank, the upgraded form of the Pokemon that's also a gear. So I'm like way behind. I gotta get out there, man. It's gotta stop raining. I know people, you know, they're talking about Pokemon Go. They're like, man, it sucks to play it, you know, in rural Idaho. There's no stops. I get it. I'm sympathetic to that. I'm sympathetic to that because now I'm like, hey, man, I'd like to play your game. Is there any chance you could make a version that simulates walking outside when it's rainy? It's not really as good for the exercise benefits now that I think about it, so never mind. It's kind of, it defeats the purpose. If I'm sitting at home, I would probably rather play a game with a little bit more of, you know, mechanical engagement factor. I guess that's what whenever I hear people talk about, like, there's people that GPS spoof to play Pokemon Go. I'm like, man, you won't find too many more people that are, you know, a defender of Pokemon Go and the positive impacts that it can have on your life. But at the same time, is it really a game you want to sit down and play at your computer and break the terms of service in order to do? I don't know. I can't help but feel at that point you'd be better off playing a game, you know, designed for a more core experience. It's a very casual game, although apparently they're reworking trainer battles, dude, so who knows? Who knows? It might become the next hardcore esport. Probably not, but maybe. But almost certainly, like, definitely not, but who knows? So I'm gonna look at these, but I'm probably not gonna take them. And I'll tell you, I'm gonna compromise. I'm gonna take Book of Sin. Gives us Bookworm. And then basically paid for itself. Dude, I gotta say, we've been having some really nice runs lately. It's also been a really great week, I should say, for video games again. I know I've been saying that a lot recently. But, you know, 2 weeks ago, what came out? Overland, Crying Sons, Forgetful Dictator. That was a really nice Thursday show. Last week, what's come out? Noita. Noita's taken the world by storm, at least the roguelite world. It's a particle physics-based, super hardcore roguelite, kind of like Teleglitch meets Falling Sand meets Terraria meets Harry Potter. How's that? So I played a little bit of that. I still got, you know, I've got jumbled thoughts on Noita. A lot of people are saying, NL, are you going to do a series on it? Honestly, I have no idea. I've only played like an hour, and this is not Dicey Dungeons. You know, it's not a game where you play it for an hour and you're instantly like, I understand. It's a substantially more complicated and mechanically dense game. Doesn't necessarily mean better, but I think people, you know, they've been universally positive about it so far. And also, Untitled Goose Game, which has been a lot of fun. And then if you're a fan of this sort of game, Code Vein, which I understand is kind of like an anime-styled RPG / character action. I'm not re-rolling, dude. Not at my age. I've learned a few things. I've heard that's pretty good. And then I've been playing the Surge 2. Now, in full disclosure, it is a sponsored deal that got me to check out the Surge 2. So, obviously, first off, I can't be trusted. But secondarily, I've been having a really good time with that. Been playing it on the PC. And it's very Soulsy, quite difficult. Not to mention, like, last week on Team Unity, we actually... Like, I think I finally learned to appreciate Borderlands by turning the voices down to 0. I've been surprised. You know, I've expected people to say, like, well, if you're going to turn the voices down to 0, why even play Borderlands? I've only had, like, 1 or 2 people say that. A lot of other people have been like, I like the story, but I completely get it. I really appreciate that. Playing that game on my own terms has been a lot of fun. And then on top of that, you know, me and Rob have been slowly working our way through Remnants from the Ashes, the first-person shooter, Dark Souls-inspired co-op game, RPG, really. And, dude, I gotta tell you, most of the stuff that I've played this year that I've been like, oh, this is like, you know, year-end list candidate, it's jumped out at me, like, right away. Remnant snuck up on me. For, like, 3 months, I've been like, hey, this game is pretty good. But now that, like, Rob and I are playing it for, like, an hour once a week, I'm like, yo, this is actually... Remnant is like a dark horse top 5 game of 2019. I'm calling it. If I actually make a year-end list this year, it's gonna be freaky, dude. It's gonna cause a lot of arguments. Is what's gonna be on it. First-person shooter Dark Souls ripoff. A game that actually came out in early access 2 years ago, and a free-to-play 1 versus 100 battle royale of a game that was originally made in like 1986. There's your candidates right there. People are gonna be like, this guy needs to be taken out of the industry immediately. He cannot be trusted. Well, okay, you know, I feel like I've done this conversation a lot recently, but I have to defend myself a little. Sekiro would definitely also be on the list, okay? But regardless, it's been a good, like, you know, like non-stop gas for video games for like what feels like months. I have heard people be like, well, it's been like a lull for video games this year. And I'm like, not the ones I'm playing, brother. I mean, I feel like in an average year, Dicey Dungeons would be like the best roguelite that would come out. And in this year, there's been Dicey Dungeons, Slay the Spire. Okay, it depends on how you want to talk about it. You know, it has been in early access for a while. But still, they did release a ton of new content this year. Noita. Spelunky 2 coming soon. Streets of Rogue. The final Gungeon update. Like, it's been a banner year. Probably the final Isaac update that might slip to 2020. Who knows? Just actually. And all sorts of, like, games that I haven't put enough time into as well. Nowhere Prophet. Overland. Crying Suns. Like, stuff that I want to play. But I'm just like, I just can't find the time. There's too much great stuff. Noita will be interesting to see. So, like, full disclosure, you know, Children of Morta has ended, or will be ending within the next couple of days, depending how these videos shake out, but I'm pretty sure it's, like, been done for probably, like, 4 days by the time this video goes up. We didn't cancel it. We beat the game, and, you know, also a great game. Don't get me wrong. But honestly, right now, I'm just recording too much stuff for YouTube. We're not really scaling back. It just looks like I'm scaling back, because when Dicey came out, I was like, hey, this is an easy game to play a lot of. Let's play some Dicey. And then, you know, 3 series became 4, just because I was enjoying the game so much. And then, you know, 4 series became the norm. So we're really just getting back to, you know, like a more reasonable level of content. But, yeah, so I know people are going to be like, are you going to use that Morta spot to play some Noita? You know, it's possible, but it won't be for a bit at least. I gotta get things sorted. You might have noticed I've been rolling on like smaller backlogs than typical, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, but it's always nice to have a larger backlog as well, so that, you know, you don't wake up every day going, oh god, I gotta do 2 episodes of every series every day for the rest of the just to break even. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, again, you hear me talk all the time about how lucky I am to have this job. Just saying, my own personal workflow, usually prefer to keep things moving a little faster. Plus, selfishly, cutting the Morta vids out on a weekly basis does open up the possibility for more streams and longer streams as well, which are also fun. But anyway. Will I check out Noita on the channel? It's definitely possible. I don't know, though. I'm kind of... To be honest, I'm kind of eager. I know... don't shoot the messenger on this one, okay? I'm the roguelike guy. I know. But also, I'm like, you know, it might be nice to play something that's not a roguelike. Something that almost a little bit shorter, like with a more definitive endpoint or something like that. That would, you know, because whenever you start a roguelite, it's kind of like it's infinite content. It might take you like 3 months of daily videos to reach a level of competence. It's a lot of time investment. I'm not saying we're going to be playing any AAA games on the channel anytime soon, but maybe something a little less dungeon crawly. But, you know, I'm not saying no to Noita as well. Hey, here's the thing, you know, let me spread the love around. If you've been enjoying what you've seen of Noita from me or other people so far, you should watch Mouth play it. He's playing a ton over on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MichaelALFox. You don't have to exclusively watch me. I just ask that after you watch his videos, you come back and watch twice as many of mine. It's just an ego thing, personally. But, you know, just pencil that in. 3 videos to watch, 1 of his, 2 of mine, and you're good to go. Alright, 25 minutes down to the chest. Very simple, very easy, very solid assortment of items down here. And the game, you know, honestly has been pretty good to us. But let's not ignore the fact that for a bit on this one, things got a little hairy. You know, we were very light on HP up until the Caves 1. At which point we became borderline invincible, but there was a little bit of uncertainty briefly. And you know the run's getting close to the end, because I broke ergonomic status. Help. Help. I'm leaning forward in my chair. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. Dude, here's a good topic for the last, like, you know, 3 or 4 minutes of the run. How do you feel about the Breaking Bad movie? It's throwing me for a loop, man, because I'm like, Breaking Bad I don't think Breaking Bad has the best ending of any TV show ever. I'd have to give it more thought. I think it has a very good ending. And it has like the best arc, I think, of almost any show ever made, in that it doesn't really get worse before the end. It kind of ends very, very, very close to its peak, which is pretty rare. But either way, like, it ended so, like, in my opinion, conclusively. I don't want to give you any spoilers, obviously, but you kind of wonder what direction, you know, they could possibly take it in. However, I also thought that Better Call Saul was going to be, like, a cash-in, which is not fair, because, I mean, it's made by the same people who made the original show, and the original show was awesome. But it did, you know, you could be forgiven for being like, well, maybe you just don't want the gravy train that is, you know, the Breaking Bad cinematic universe to die out. And then it ended up being, you know, at least so far, extremely great. So I feel almost guilty about being cautious about the movie, because I'm like, you know, help. Okay, that was a long fuse. So I'm like, you know, it's the same people. They just, you keep doubting them and they keep coming back with magic. Anyway, it's cool that it's coming out on Netflix too. I've been a little bit more negative about Netflix recently. Just, you know, they've lost, in my opinion, a lot of the pull that they originally had. And it's not really their fault, but other companies started to wise up and be like, hey, why are we selling our shows on the cheap to Netflix when we could be making people pay out the butt for them instead? And, you know, pretty much something that makes every consumer's experience worse in order to make people richer. But at the same time, you know, without being extremely pro-corporation, I am like, well, I mean, if you're the ones financing the shows up front, it's kind of your prerogative. I mean, nothing in the Constitution that says, like, thou shalt be allowed access to unfettered live streaming of every The Good Wife spinoff ever made by CBS for a fraction of the cost it would cost you to normally watch it via the network. Anyway, I just abstain now. I abstain from watching shows that are not on services I am compelled to get. But, you know, it's cool that it's coming to Netflix. Because for one, I have Netflix, so I can watch it. But for two, Breaking Bad is really like the #1 show that I associate with Netflix. The pre-Netflix originals, when Netflix was one of the major selling points for Xbox Live Gold of all possible platforms. You go over to your friend's house, he's watching Breaking Bad like season 2 on Netflix. You know he's not paying extra for HD streaming either. He's watching it on a 14-inch CRT monitor. So modern Netflix, I don't know. What do I associate more with modern Netflix? It's a great question. Mediocre stand-up comedy and Australian real estate reality TV shows, and the occasional 10 out of 10 Netflix original. I miss the 2014 Corridor, where every Netflix documentary was just weird crimes. Bring that back, please. But when I think of, like, classic Netflix, it's definitely Breaking Bad. Anyway, it was a fun episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See you.